Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're gonna crack open a topic that I know a lot of you are curious about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the health benefits of eating eggs every day. So, you sent in this YouTube video. Do you know what happens to the body when you eat eggs daily? By a channel called The Health. And, well, let's just say they make some pretty bold claims.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking stroke reduction, mood boosting the works.
Wow.
To help us separate the yolk from the shell, so to speak. We've got our expert here ready to dive into the science behind these sunny side up promises.
It's wild, how much attention a single food can get
Right.
when it comes to health, like the egg.
Yeah.
I think people are always looking for those like silver bullets, those simple solutions.
Totally.
And while eggs definitely have nutritional value, it's important to look at everything in context.
For sure.
Like with your whole diet and lifestyle.
Okay, so let's get into it. The video starts off by talking about eggs as a potential stroke reducer. They even drop a statistic from Peking University research saying that daily egg eaters have a 28% lower risk.
That's significant.
Then they jump to cholesterol, claiming eggs can boost the good kind. And they mention a Chinese study that links daily egg consumption to a 20% lower risk of heart disease. Sounds pretty impressive, right?
It definitely grabs your attention. But here's the thing.
Okay.
The video focuses on correlation, not causation.
Right.
Just because two things happen together, like eating eggs and having a lower stroke risk, it doesn't mean that one causes the other.
Right.
You could earn a library of books and not be a genius.
Right.
It's about the bigger picture. There could be other factors involved, like diet, exercise, even your genetics, lifestyle choices.
Right. So important to keep that in mind. It's like with anything else in health, there's never just one simple answer.
Yeah.
So takeaway number one, remember, correlation does not equal causation.
Yeah.
But the video keeps going and suggests that eggs can boost your mood and even help with managing depression. They point to something called choline and its role in making neurotransmitters. What's the deal with choline and mood?
So choline is definitely important for brain health.
Okay.
And it helps produce something called acetylcholine,
Okay.
which is a neurotransmitter that's involved in things like memory, mood, even muscle control.
Wow.
And yes, egg yolks are a good source of choline.
Okay.
The leap that the video makes is connecting egg consumption directly to fewer struggles with depression.
Right.
And I think that needs more research.
Okay.
While enough choline is key, it's unlikely to be like a fix-all for something as complex as, mental health conditions.
So eggs as a mood booster, the jury is still out. That being said, are there any foods that DO have a strong connection to mood based on research?
There are definitely some promising areas of research looking at the gut-brain connection.
Okay.
Like how what we eat can impact mood.
Right.
For example, there have been studies that show that a diet rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which you can find in things like fatty fish, may have positive effects on mood.
Oh, interesting.
And even help with managing depression. But it's important to remember, like we discussed earlier, it's always about the whole picture, not just one magic food.
Makes total sense. So key takeaway number 2, for a healthy mind, a diverse diet is your friend. But the video doesn't stop there. Oh no. It claims eggs are weight loss aids, muscle builders, and even immune system boosters.
Wow.
They talk about how full eggs can make you feel,
Okay.
which they say could help with weight management. And of course, they highlight all that high-quality protein in eggs for building muscle, especially if you're an athlete.
Yeah.
They even go as far as saying that some proteins in eggs are like a defense system against diseases.
Okay, so I think that's where we need to be careful about separating the science from the marketing hype.
Right.
While eggs can be part of a weight loss plan because of the protein and how filling they are, they're not a magic solution.
For sure.
To really lose weight sustainably, you need to think about things like balancing your calories.
Right.
Getting enough exercise, your overall eating habits.
Right. Yeah. No shortcuts when it comes to health. But I am still curious about the muscle building and immunity claims. What's your perspective on those?
Eggs are definitely a good source of protein, which is important for fixing and growing muscles.
Okay.
However, building muscle also relies on you consistently working out and eating a balanced diet.
Yeah.
That provides all the nutrients your body needs. It's like thinking you can become a world-class musician by just buying an instrument.
Right.
You need practice and a good teacher, too.
Totally.
As for the immune system claims, while some things in eggs, like certain proteins, might have antibacterial properties, it's really important to remember the immune system is super complex.
Right.
Lots of things impact it, not just a single food.
Okay, so it sounds like key takeaway number 3, is that eggs can play a role in a healthy lifestyle, but they're not a solo act.
Exactly.
There's always more to the story, right?
Right.
What's coming up next in this egg venture?
Well, the video goes on to address eyesight and hair health and even gets into the different types of eggs,
Oh,
like standard versus organic.
okay.
I'm interested to see how they handle those topics.
I'm with you. This is getting really interesting. We'll be right back to discuss the rest of the video.
So before the break, we were talking about how eggs aren't a magic bullet for health.
Right. And speaking of the bigger picture, the video moves on to eyesight and hair health.
Okay.
They highlight the zinc and vitamin A in egg yolks,
Yeah.
saying those nutrients could reduce the risk of macular degeneration.
Okay.
Then they bring up biotin, claiming it can promote hair growth and prevent hair loss.
Oh, right.
What's your take on those points?
Well, when we think about eye health, it's important to remember that a diet full of antioxidants and nutrients like lutein and zeaxanthin is really key.
Okay.
You can find those in leafy greens and other colorful vegetables.
Gotcha.
While eggs do contribute some zinc and vitamin A, they shouldn't be seen as like the only solution
Right.
for healthy eyes. Regular eye checkups and a balanced diet are just as important.
So eggs can be part of a good eye care strategy, but not the whole story.
Right. What about the hair growth claims?
Biotin deficiency can definitely contribute to hair loss,
Okay.
but eggs aren't the only source of biotin.
Right.
Plus, lots of things can cause hair loss, like genetic stress, even underlying medical conditions.
Yeah.
Relying solely on eggs to address hair loss would be an oversimplification.
That's a great point. Just like with all the other claims, it's important to remember that there are many factors at play. So key takeaway number 4, while some nutrients in eggs may support healthy vision and hair, a diverse diet and other lifestyle factors are essential too. Now the video shifts gears and talks about the different types of eggs, like standard versus organic,
Okay.
focusing on the chicken's diet and living conditions. They even claim that organic eggs have higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids. What should our listener keep in mind when they're at the grocery store, staring at all the different egg cartons?
Yeah. The choice between standard and organic eggs often comes down to personal preference budget and what's even available where you live.
While organic eggs might offer certain benefits, like potentially higher omega-3 content,
Right.
it's important to note that other food sources, like fatty fish, are also packed with omega-3s.
So it's not necessarily about one being better than the other, but more about understanding the differences
Right.
and choosing what aligns with your priorities. Kind of like choosing ingredients for a recipe.
Exactly.
Some folks might prefer organic, while others are looking for the most affordable option.
Making informed choices is all about understanding the nuances and picking what makes sense for you.
Totally.
There's no one-size-fits-all.
So key takeaway number 5 is to consider your personal priorities when choosing between different types of eggs. And speaking of choices, the video ends with a specific recommendation for daily egg consumption.
Okay.
4 to 5 eggs for healthy individuals and 2 to 3 for those with certain health conditions. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that recommendation raises a really important question.
Right.
What defines healthy in this context? Everyone's different. Things like age, how active you are, any existing health conditions,
Sure.
and your overall diet all come into play.
Right. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to health and diet. So what's the bottom line for our listener? Should they be stocking up on eggs or taking these claims with a grain of salt?
While eggs offer valuable nutrients and can be a healthy part of a balanced diet,
Okay.
it's crucial to approach any health claims with a critical eye, especially those promoting a single food as a cure-all.
Right.
Remember, it's all about the big picture. The key takeaway here is to consult with a healthcare professional or registered dietitian for personalized dietary advice.
That's such an important reminder. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of the latest health trends, but individualized guidance is key. We've covered a lot of ground in this excellent deep dive.
It's been a pleasure exploring the complexities and separating fact from fiction. It's always good to remember that critical thinking is essential, especially when we're navigating the world of nutritional information.
Absolutely. It's so easy to get overwhelmed by all the conflicting information out there.
It really is.
After all of this, I'm wondering what stands out to you about the video's claims and our discussion today. What's the biggest takeaway from your perspective?
What really strikes me is how this video plays into our desire for simple solutions.
Oh, yeah.
It's tempting to believe that one single food can solve all sorts of health problems.
Totally.
But reality is much more nuanced than that.
Right.
Our bodies are complex systems, and true health comes from a holistic approach. diet, lifestyle, genetics, the whole package.
I completely agree. This deep dive has definitely given me a new appreciation for the complexity of nutrition. It's not just about individual foods, but how they all work together, right?
Absolutely.
Like different instruments in an orchestra.
I love that.
They each play a role in creating the full symphony of health.
That's a great analogy. You can't just focus on one instrument and expect to get the full musical experience.
Right.
It's about the harmony of all the parts working together.
I love that. So we've thoroughly debunked the myth of the magic egg, but I'm still curious to know. What are your thoughts on the video's recommendation of eating multiple eggs per day? Is that a reasonable suggestion for most people?
You know, that's where personalized guidance comes in.
Okay.
General recommendations can be helpful,
Right.
but individual needs vary so much.
Right.
Someone with a history of high cholesterol might approach egg consumption differently than someone with different dietary needs.
Yeah.
What works for one person might not work for another.
So it all comes back to the importance of consulting with a professional. They can help create a plan that works for your unique situation.
Exactly. A registered dietitian can assess your overall dietary patterns, health history, and goals.
Okay.
To provide personalized guidance, they can help you determine how many eggs, if any, would be appropriate for your specific needs.
That makes a lot of sense. You know, as we wrap up this extraordinary deep dive, I'm realizing that there's a bigger lesson here. It's about being informed consumers of health information. We're bombarded with health claims every day, on social media, in the news, even from well-meaning friends and family.
Absolutely. It's more important than ever to develop critical thinking skills and become savvy consumers of health information.
For sure.
There's a lot of noise out there, and it can be tough to separate fact from fiction.
It's like we need a decoder ring or something to figure out what's actually good for us.
Totally.
So how can our listener become like a more discerning consumer of health information? What are some red flags to watch out for?
You know, one common red flag is the promise of quick fixes or miracle cures.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If it sounds too good to be true,
Right.
it probably is.
Yeah.
Another thing to watch out for is like a reliance on anecdotal evidence.
Oh, yeah.
Or testimonials instead of like actual scientific research. Just because your friend's cousin's neighbor lost weight on a certain diet doesn't mean it's right for everyone.
Right. Personal stories can be interesting, but they shouldn't be the only basis for making decisions about our health.
Exactly. Look for information that's backed by credible sources like studies that have been reviewed by other experts or reputable health organizations.
Okay.
And remember, we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
Correlation doesn't equal causation.
Right.
Just because two things happen around the same time doesn't mean that one caused the other.
It's easy to fall into that trap.
It is.
So be skeptical of sweeping generalizations.
Yes.
And look for the nuances.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Right.
You know, if something seems unclear or oversimplified, dig a little deeper. Talk to your doctor or a registered dietitian, or even do some research on your own using those reliable sources we talked about.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. It's amazing how much we've learned about eggs nutrition and the importance of critical thinking.
Yeah, it's been great exploring these concepts with you. I always enjoy getting into the nuances of things and unraveling the complexities.
And I so appreciate you breaking down all this information in such a clear and engaging way.
Well, thank you. It's all about making this knowledge accessible.
Yes.
And empowering people to make informed decisions about their health.
Well said. You know, as we're wrapping up, is there anything else our listeners should keep in mind when it comes to eating eggs or just making food choices in general? Any final words of wisdom?
You know, here's a final thought for you.
Okay.
Beyond just thinking about the nutrients in our food, we can also consider the ethical and environmental impact of our choices.
Oh, that's a great point.
How are the animals raised? What do they eat?
Right.
These factors can play a big role in the overall sustainability of our food system.
That's an important point. It's not just about our own personal health, but also about making choices that align with our values.
Right.
And thinking about the impact those choices have on the world around us.
Right. Food choices are multifaceted. They can reflect our values, impact the environment, and contribute to a larger system.
I love that perspective. It's a great reminder that everything is interconnected.
Exactly. And that awareness can be incredibly empowering.
For sure.
It allows us to make choices that support not only our own well-being, but also the well-being of the planet.
Well, it seems like we've gone far beyond just cracking the code of egg nutrition in this deep dive. We've explored critical thinking, ethical consumption, and the interconnectedness of our food choices.
It's been quite a journey. And I hope our listener feels ready to approach any health information they encounter with a discerning and empowered mindset.
I think they will. This deep dive has been packed with insights and questions to ponder. So as we wrap up this extraordinary exploration, we have one final question for you, dear listener. Now that you've heard all sides of the egg debate, how will you approach your dietary choices moving forward? Will you be grabbing that carton of eggs with new knowledge and a critical eye? Or will you explore other protein sources and consider the broader implications of your food choices? Whatever you decide, remember, stay curious, keep learning, and make choices that nourish your body and align with your values. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. Until next time.